Highlighting the influence of James Rolfe's character, the angry video game nerd, has been done as much as rain falls from the sky. We all know what the AVGN has done for the internet post-YouTube and the online gaming culture spawned from him. If you really want to know the influence of the angry video game nerd, you don't need to watch a video essay about him by me, you just need to watch many of his imitators and just how many reviewers derive certain mannerisms and verbiage from James Rolfe's persona. Something I don't see examined a lot is the style of AVGN's comedy and how it really works. So, what makes AVGN funny? Is it the scatological jokes themselves? Yes, but that's not what makes those jokes work. Okay, so I'm about to bring some old shit up with an HVAC here, but comparing some of the types of jokes between AVGN and Irate Gamer hail a different result. Thing is, the delivery is very similar between the two, so why is Irate Gamer so hated for doing the same thing? James Rolfe doesn't have insanely good delivery with his jokes either, but what can it be? For as ridiculous as the scatological jokes can get, anyone can make a word salad with the word shit and a crap ton of adjectives. Honestly, I believe it's his earnestness that makes the jokes and comedy work, as well as the effectiveness of the videos in general. Now, you're probably scratching your head at why I say earnestness in particular, since a lot of the comedy is part of his overacting. How is that being earnest? Because it almost has nothing to do with the jokes itself. And I'm not saying that James Rolfe's jokes and delivery are bad at all. In fact, they are great, but it's carried by his conviction and how the audience can recognize that. Going back to talking about AVGN's imitators, it's hard to see this amount of earnestness in their personalities. This is of course due to how inspired they are from the nerd. They aren't earnest in their intentions as the nerd is. The charm of the nerd is just how well he plays the part. Trying to emulate him doesn't necessarily yield good results. Earnestness in James and his character are so deep-rooted in himself, and the humor shines with that. James is a talented guy and all, but I don't believe that is all that made him popular. I have quite the allegory for this, and if you're a wrestling fan, you will absolutely agree with me on this. Maybe. Daniel Bryan during 2013 to 2015 was the most over person in the company of WWE. You know why he was? Because he was the best worker and absolutely loved what he did. This translated insanely well to the audience at the time, even so well that fans took over many shows by chanting his names in segments that he wasn't even part of. Daniel Bryan isn't even really good on the mic, but he is great in the ring, and his love for the sport shines through in his character and how he is as a person. I feel this is the same with the angry video game nerd. He isn't phoning it in for anyone, and James Rolfe is trying his best. You can almost say the same thing about Mike Matei and his corny humor, it's just his charm. However, in recent years, I've found a different observation about the AVGN that may result to a certain type of satire. James Rolfe lived through a majority of the games he has reviewed, so the nostalgia and memories he shares are completely genuine. However, he may not have known about what was to come of his influence and how it may have molded his content or the future. This may be apparent, but the angry video game nerd is sort of a satire now. Didn't really start that way, even though it's a comedic series. The angry video game nerd as a character also now serves as the role of somewhat of a satire. But the angry video game nerd as a character is part of the satire. You see, there are game reviewers who unironically act like the angry video game nerd, and I'm not talking about the direct clones. I am talking about the reviewers who are actually as angry as, well, the angry video game nerd. I don't need to list examples, just try to recall them from memory about the people that you may know and seen. It seems I've already done enough finger pointing, unfortunately, but if you want to use that as an example, go for it. But to narrow it down into an idea, I'm talking about the very unnecessarily analytical and pessimistic reviewers. What this has done has accidentally made AVGN a satire of sorts towards those people, and internet gaming culture in general, even though he really doesn't intend it. The character of AVGN has become a self-fulfilling prophecy of what the gaming internet culture would become. Is it genius or just dumb luck? I want to give James the benefit of the doubt and say the former, but I actually believe the latter. Relating this back to the semantics of his comedy, it seems that James Rolfe didn't and still doesn't have any intellectual motivations with the character or the series. Sure, there may be a few instances of him making fun of internet culture that surrounds him, but James Rolfe doesn't have an agenda with his videos. This only makes the satire more compelling because he may have accidentally had a hand in inspiring it. Does this also make AVGN even more funnier for me in 2017? Actually, yeah. We're getting to the point in YouTube and Web 2.0 culture where we may be able to examine internet culture intellectually. This is what happens when time goes by. The meaning of a work can change, especially on the internet. The unintended satire is great because he doesn't mean to do it, and it still applies nicely because of all the counterparts spawned from the years. Sure, he might be overacting, but at the end of the day, it still represents a lot of people who are on the internet and who do review games. Overall, I believe it's his earnestness and conviction, along with the unintended satire, that really make the AVGN so funny and charming. The angry video game nerd as a character will always be a monument of internet culture. Now, I will be doing a few more videos about the nerd in the future, so please stay tuned. I have a lot more to talk about.